Paint Phoenix Purple is a local City of Phoenix awareness campaign to prevent and end domestic violence. Hello, I'm Deborah Cedillo-Dugan. Domestic violence is one of the most widespread and dangerous health issue we have in our community today. Joining us today is DeMarie Colvin. He grew up in an abusive home. We're going to learn from him today how that has impacted his life and where he is today. Thank you so much for joining us, DeMarie.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. That must have been unbelievably really tough growing up in an abusive home. Give us a little bit about your background and what it was like growing up.
It was very difficult, very challenging, as a young man, you don't understand a lot of things. You know, you grew up in this neighborhood or this household with these things happening, and you try to navigate life through what you see and what you've learned. So being the oldest of 7 at that time, like again, my mother had 4 boys and my stepfather had 3 children of his own. So to see her go through that on a weekly basis really tore the family apart in so many ways.
And this was a cyclical thing, because it wasn't not so much your father, it was boyfriends that was kind of a revolving.
Yes. Yes, each guy that my mother dated was not very often. She was, you know, reclusive a lot, but the guys she did choose to date, they would often abuse her or introduce her to all types of drugs. And so therefore, by her being our mother, we all had to fall to the wayside sometimes and just accept what was happening.
How did that make you feel growing up, and especially being the oldest of your siblings?
Well, for the most part, as I grew up, it subconsciously taught me, again, that that was acceptable. And as I grew up and educated myself, I realized that was not acceptable. That is not the way to treat anyone at any time, especially a female who loves you.
Well, there was an instance where you had enough and you had to, your grandmother helped with the kids, you lived with your grandparents, and you went back to protect your mother. Tell us about that. What happened?
Yeah, I was out here in Phoenix, and my mother was living abroad in California, and we got word that my mother was abused to the point of being strangled, where she received irreversible brain damage because of that. And as a young man who loves his mom and wants to protect his mom, and all those years I couldn't protect her as a young adolescent, I went back to see this gentleman face to face. And things occurred, and then I ended up coming back to Phoenix, and some other situations happened, involving again domestic violence with my own high school sweetheart, who I had 2 children with. We were together from 15 to 20. And that situation happened when I ended up becoming incarcerated because of everything that was involved in it.
So let's get this straight. You actually went to go protect your mother and take care of business with her abuser.
Yes.
But while at the same time, you were doing the only thing that you knew how to do in a relationship was to be an abuser.
That is correct. I also abused because, again, I was subconsciously taught that that's how you treat your woman. And it was an ironic thing that when I finally got the epiphany later down the line of growing up and realizing, no, that is not the way you treat a woman. That is not the way you treat somebody you love. You protect them, you guard them, and you support them. So yes, I ended up being an abuser myself later in the years as a teenager.
So when did you have your aha moment and that epiphany and turn your life around? And what did you do to take you to get where you are today?
That's a good question. I want to give this movie some accolades because it was a movie called What's Love Got to Do with It, starring Larry Fishburne and Angela Bassett. Once I saw that movie and I saw the abuse from a different perspective, it changed me. It opened my mind, it opened my heart, my soul, and it made me want to be a better person. It made me not ever want to put my hands on a woman ever again for any reason. That's what changed me. And from that point on, I was on a mission to do whatever I can to change the outcome of domestic violence.
And you were such a wonderful spokesperson for the City of Phoenix and this actual campaign. Talk about some of the activities you do and the shirt you have in your on top of your lap too. So what kind of things are you doing to actually voice your journey and to make a difference in our community?
Well, I met a gentleman by the name of Sergio Gomez and Nicholas Venezuela about 5.5 years ago at one of the Paint Phoenix Purple domestic violence campaigns, where we were asking for donations, toiletries, food products, and everything for the local shelters for women. And I saw the poster at one of my service centers in Okima. I was just started with the city. Thank God for the city. I thank y'all for giving me an opportunity to work for you. I'm excited. And then I met them, and they welcomed me, and from that point on, I've been a liaison for the Paint Phoenix Purple Domestic Violence Award situation.
And how do you do your part out in the community on just a regular, yes, 'cause I know you have that great.
I had this jersey made, and I wear this jersey proudly wherever I go. Any football, any events, any ulterior things I show, and I get a lot of questions, and a lot of women and guys shake my hand and ask me, hey man, that's pretty cool. And they ask me, of course, what does the 0.9 stand for? And the 0.9 stand for, frankly, is every 9 seconds in America, a woman is abused. So I want to bring attention to what's happening in our world and abroad.
You have a couple daughters.
Yes.
So what are you doing to teach your daughters about the importance of dating and what's right, what's wrong, the do's and don'ts, now that you have learned the hard way, growing up, and then you yourself and turning your life around? How has that helped you raising these daughters now?
Well, the first thing for me when I became a man, because a lot of these males, to me, Deborah, they're not men, because a man would never abuse somebody they love. A man would never put his hands on them, hurt them financially, spiritually, emotionally. They would never do anything like that to hurt the woman that they love, if they truly are a man. So to me, most guys, it doesn't matter what age they are, they're males, okay, pretending to be men. So what I taught my daughters was, I first admitted to them my past. I gave clear instructions on what I did. I was transparent with them, and I apologized for mistreating their mothers the way I did. And they were really shocked, and they accepted me, and they forgave me. And from that point on, I just digitally watch them and help them and give them advice on any relationship that they may have in the future.
So that's wonderful. So you're really turning that around in your family, that cyclical thing that was happening in your family.
Yeah, it starts with me. It starts with me, and it ends with me. So it's very important that I showed them.
I want to go back to your mother. What would you say was probably the most trying experience for you as a young boy and being the oldest of witnessing the abuse that your mother went under?
Well, it's going to be in my book. I'm working on my biography right now, and it's in an in-service called, the name of the book is First Degree Fool, and the Reconstruction of My Soul, Part 1. And in it, it describes how I was trying to defend my mother on different occasions, and I was thrown around the room like a rag doll by my mother's boyfriends. So the biggest impact for me was not to be able to be strong enough or big enough or man enough to protect my mom or my siblings.
What were you experiencing? I mean, just the fear, what do you remember what you felt like?
Yeah, it's coming back to me now, so please forgive me if I get a little emotional. It's like reliving it all over again. There was incidents where my mom had knives to her boyfriend's neck in the kitchen, and we don't know if she's really going to cut his throat, is he going to stab her. Things are being thrown, holes in the walls, and it was a very traumatic experience for us. But as a young man and always believing in God, you know, I feel that He gave me the strength and the tenacity and the fortitude to shield my brothers and sisters from whatever was happening. Usually the cops would be called, and my mom would lie to the cops saying, hey, we're fine, with a black eye or her clothes torn or whatever. But usually the cops would be called, and then the whole situation would subside and things would cool off, and then it'd be back to normal, and that's what you would call normal the next day.
How many times a week would that happen?
It would mostly happen, I believe, Deborah, probably on the first of the month, or maybe probably twice a month at most, if I give a number. When you're that young, you really don't, it all falls into one. You never know time or dates or how many times it happens, it just happens.
You got your GED, you got educated, you got a great job, and so you really turned your life around.
Yeah, I had to. I wanted to. It's all about choices, Deborah. I mean, there's choices in life every day. You know, there's choices to be good and to be bad. Just surround yourself with positive people, going places with a purpose. It's a choice. So when I got released from the incarceration, I decided to change my life. I did not want that anymore. I did not want to go back. I did not want to see it no more. And there's good things out here. There's all kind of positive things you can do to change your life and to go and be a positive person if you choose to. It's all about choice.
What would you tell somebody if they were in a domestic violent situation, or if they know somebody in a domestic violence situation? What would you tell them today?
Well, I would tell them that you do not deserve to be mistreated. You do not deserve to be belittled. You do not deserve to be dismantled, degraded, put down, led astray. You deserve to be exalted, especially for women. I think women are God's greatest gift to man, to a full-blown man. Again, I separate man from males, and I designate a male by his anatomy. Okay, just because you're a male doesn't make you a man. There's attributes and things you have to do to increase your character to be a man. So I would tell them, you deserve better, do better.
Well, thank you so very much for spending a few minutes with us. Really appreciate it. Wish you well, and thank you for everything you do in the community and really making an awareness about this really huge public health issue we have in our community.
If it's my will, Deborah, I would like to eradicate domestic violence. There was no need for it. It's a subconscious learned behavior. So if you can learn it, you can unlearn it. So, and if there was a way of some kind of programs or anything that we could do as a collective force in the communities around the world, let's work together and end domestic violence once and for all. I'm here to help any way I can.
Thanks again, DeMarie.
Thank you.
If you or a loved one is experiencing domestic violence, you're not alone. There is help out there. You can call anytime, 24/7 at 1-800-799-SAFE, SAFE, or 1-800-799-7233. For Phoenix TV, I'm Deborah Cedillo Dugan.